Shalom, and let's start out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to those who let this person is truth, across for conserve all faith, truth, sincerity. I rest the brother, I'm one by from the Birmingham camp out about GMS. Let's look at this sin just going to about, the time of, of an age, ending of an age, ending of a kingdom. We in the time of seeing the so-called Esau Edomite's kingdom fall, and seeing the rise of so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelite kingdom rising up. The house of David. From the apostles and elders and brethren in a great millstone, first and foremost. Like I say, the 144,000, the elect men that that are chosen, to be joint heirs of the Lord Yahushua, when he returns, and to be delivered out of these troubles and the troubled times that's coming to this place, America, Babylon the Great, into the world, into the so-called Esau Edomites world, so you're seeing all these things, the rise and the division amongst these devils, Edomites, so-called Esau Edom. You seeing the times of the system in this place falling down. You see there's no agreement between these devils. Their house is falling. This kingdom, their kingdom is falling down. So I'm get into it. It's Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So to everything there's a time, there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So Ecclesiastes 3:1. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. There was a point in time where America, with so-called Esau Edomites, kingdom was born, and now it's a time where it's time for it to die. It's time for it to go down. To be destroyed. And we heading to those times. Seeing the so-called Esau Edomites kingdom world, America, Babylon Great, it's gonna be brought down and eventually gonna be destroyed by way of the thermonuclear missiles. And when the Lord Yahushua returns, and so-called UFO, the chariots, and like I say, this place was planted, but now it's time for it to be plucked up. It's time for it to be taken out. The so-called Esau Edomites his kingdom is the time of going forward for this place to be plucked up and brought down, taken out. So in this verse, Ecclesiastes 3:3, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. So I say it's a time for everything. We in a time this place, America, Babylon Great, Esau Edomite's world is being breaking down. And like I say, you seen the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelite men, the house of David, Israel, the elect of the nation of Israel, Israelites are being built up. You seeing right now, on a lower level, we low right now, but men of the Lord are low. Not really having power, but you're gonna see the power. You seen the power in far spiritual aspects, but physically it's gonna come about. That's gonna happen. And you're gonna know who the man of the Lord is when all these things start to happen. This so-called Esau Edomite's kingdom is falling and going down and more, and eventually it be taken out and destroyed when the Lord Yahushua returns. So Ecclesiastes 3:4, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. So we going forward, it's gonna be, it's a time for everything, we are not finna head into the times of laughing and dancing. We're heading into the times of weeping and mourning, man. A lot of sorrows and pains, and a lot of death, and it's coming towards this place, America, Babylon the Great, and to the people, man. That's when be coming more and more, more and more. That's gonna be more and more. As you see people, a lot of people mourning and weeping. Now a lot of people gonna be laughing and dancing, in a mirth spirit, in a happy go lucky spirit, in a having, partying, and bullshit, whatever it may be, Really, you're gonna see people, a lot of people in distress and pain and sorrows and mourning and crying, That's what's coming, to this place of so-called man Esau Edomite's kingdom. A lot of hate, less love, That's what's coming. But so from there, matter of fact, I'll go down. I'll skip to 8. Go to Ecclesiastes 3:8. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. So yeah, like I said, it's a time to love and a time of hate. So we in a time of hate and a time of war. We ain't in a time of love and peace going forward. It's gonna be a lot of time of hate and a time of war. So you got these race riots, and so forth, man, going on. Nation against nation. We have Esau versus Jacob. So-called Esau Edom, the red people, and Jacob, so-called Negro, Latino natives, Israelites going at it. So forth, man, here in America, Babylon the Great, in the world, but mostly here in America, Babylon the Great. But so from now, go to 2 Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the partners of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And 2 Ezra 6 and 8, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born to him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. And that's symbolic, Esau came out first. Esau is the so-called man Esau. Esau is the so-called white man, the red man. And Jacob is, will be, today be called the so-called Negro, dark-skinned man, Jacob came out, dark skin, dark brown, dark skin, but Esau, came out red, and Jacob's hand held the heel of Esau, which is a symbolic of, Esau came out first, but Jacob's hand held Esau is a symbolic of pulling down, even though Esau came out first, but Jacob held that heel of Esau, and that just, symbolic of, in these times right now, when the Lord Yahweh Shah returns, he's gonna bring down the so-called man Esau Edomite's world, So 2 Ezra 69, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So Esau is the end of the world. So this is the end of the world, which people don't still really don't get all the way, but the understanding of the end of the world is the end of a rulership. So this is the end of the rulership of the so-called man Esau Edom rule, his kingdom. And Jacob's so-called Negro, Latino native Israelites, from the men of the Lord, from the apostles and brethren that you see on the highways and byways, teaching you the word of the Lord, giving you truth and knowledge and understanding, what's really to come, what's about to happen, and so forth, And those are the men that you see. Hopefully I'm part of a righteous number, but you see the men that are teaching the word of the Lord sincerely and telling you what's going to happen and what's going to come after this. Once these things start to happen, once this place, this society of the so-called man Esau Edomite's world go down, what's next is going to be so-called Negro Latino native Israelites, coming into power. The elect, first and foremost, the elect man, 100 for the 4,000. And then you have the 1/3, and now, women and children, believers, in that, But like I said, that's a small number compared to Israel as a whole, And that's why mostly Israel on this side, 2/3 of the nation Israelites gonna die. But only a small number of Israelites gonna be delivered, and having, having the first, be the first rounds, to have the abundance of the kingdom, Then 2/3 that do die on the side gotta come back in the kingdom as babies, you know. Yeah, 2/3 gonna get the kingdom, but but the elect gonna get there, the first of it, the abundance, be joint heirs with Lord Yahushua and have more, But yeah, I didn't want to go. That's all I want to go into. So about the end of this world, the end of the so-called Esau Edomite's world. We at a time where this place is gonna be bought down. It's not gonna be no more, like I said, this place, thriving and the thrill of it, having fun and all that finna stop, man. So with that, I didn't want to make this too long. So again, I'd like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, to the apostle elders, to the second brothers, to the few Akwaf sisters to do this and keep the faith, and Yahushua keep fighting with that. Say shalom.